Hey guys, it's Kenny here from A Policeman's Life. On today's video, as the title implies, I want to talk about dealing with a major injury and the mental health depression side of that. Before we get into that, I just need to do one thing. Just one second. And I'm back. And you can tell I look a little different here. So why shave the beard? What does that mean? So today's video is about, I guess, major illness or anything like that in your life, and kind of the depression and the kind of mental health toll that comes along with it. I guess something that I wasn't truly expecting. And the reason for shaving the beard, I guess it's kind of symbolic of me trying to move past that. One way I dealt with, and I've always kind of dealt with if I'm depressed or down, stuff like that, was eating and overeating. So depression can lead you to eat too much or eat too little. Sorry for the winds. I have the little funny cat thing on there. Hopefully that will keep the wind down. It's a nice sunny day, so I wanted to be on the deck. But anyway, I would grow the beard because when I gain weight, the first place I gain it is in my face and my throat. So with the beard, I was able to craft it really nicely and kind of elongate my face and still kind of make it look narrow, and you couldn't really see the signs that I was putting on weight. So during this injury recovery, I had the surgery back in February, and I think at the peak I put on about 20 pounds. I'm down 5 of that now, so I'm progressing forward. I'm going to get that off. So what I want to talk today about is just if you're going through a surgery or something like that, just to be aware that depression is something that will rear its head for a lot of factors, like and obviously the severity of the surgery or the injury that you have will cause that. So for me, there's a lot of things. Like with the job as a police officer, I struggle a lot anyways, kind of with, I guess you'd say, mental health to a degree. Like as a police officer or first responder out there, you're a lot of stress is put on your mind. You're always thinking about a lot of stuff, and I think most first responders deal with mental health issues to a degree. Obviously the extreme would be PTSD, and the low end would be just a little bit of depression, a little bit of mood change and stuff like that for all the stuff you go through. And sadly, I don't know if it's right to say, but it's kind of seems like it's a cost of having the job, and that is changing. We're getting better with it, but this being a first responder does change you. But anyway, that's another topic. So by coming into my injury, so if you didn't see, I could put up above me a little clip for my recovery vlogs. I blew up my Achilles tendon at work, and then within a week I had surgery to repair it. It was a complete rupture. And now I think roughly 16 weeks later, into like the better recovery part. It's still very tender, it's still very easy to rupture again, but we're progressing forward. So I guess initially, after I ruptured the surgery, obviously right away, like, you don't have time to even think about it. Like, I didn't mind in the middle of the road. My only thought was to get back to my patrol car, get off the road, and then you go through everything's kind of whirlwind. You're down at the hospital, you have appointments to see specialists, you're seeing the specialist, and like I said, under a week I was in, had surgery, and it was all repaired. And during that process, nobody really talks to you about your feelings, how you're going to feel about this. It's all about focus on your recovery. Don't move the Achilles. You don't want to stretch it. Down the road, it's exercises to do. It's never about your mental well-being. Initially, you have a lot of support from your friends, family. Everybody's reaching out to you, and that's great. Then that kind of dies off, and like, one factor too is, like, I guess the time of year that doesn't mind happening in the winter time, so it's kind of gloomy weather anyways here. So for the first few weeks, like, you're basically sitting on the couch. You can't do anything, you can't get out, you're not seeing people. Like, for me, like, obviously work is a big part of my life, and I miss going to work. I miss being out there, as cliche as it sounds, like catching the bad guys. And you're stuck on a couch and you can't move. So then one way some people would deal with it is you start to eat too much maybe. So, and then I guess a little bit of depression creeps in, because now you start thinking of, especially when every time you talk to somebody about like this injury or whatever injury it is, they're like, oh, Achilles rupture, that's terrible, that's a long one, that's one of the worst ones to come back from. I'm gonna put my glass down because I'm squinting there. But yeah, so like the recovery for this is 9 to 12 months. So you start looking forward 9 to 12 months until I can be, I guess, normal again. I have 3 kids under the age of 5, like, and for the longest time, like I'm at week 16, and it's the last few weeks where I've been able to be mobile more. So like probably around 10 weeks maybe into it, so 2.5 months into it, like I couldn't hardly even move, like I was in a hard cast or anything like that. So like having kids under 5, like I can't run after them. At first I couldn't pick them up. It was hard to even play with them, like getting down on the ground. You have to be careful how you bend your leg. So that starts to get depressing. I have a little girl that's under 1, and she just started getting very active and stuff, and you can't keep up with her. Like I said, you miss work, and just your daily routine, you miss that. And then just like I said, the thought of how long this will be. This is going to affect me. This is going to be a full year of my life dealing with this. And it's something that I'd be cautious with afterwards. So maybe you had heart surgery, maybe you had a hip replacement. It's going to be the same type of thing. So a lot of times people feel themselves, start to get down on themselves, kind of have a pity party. You kind of cut off your friends. Maybe you'll eat too much, maybe you do the opposite and you hardly eat anything, and the depression sets in and you don't even realize that it's setting in. Myself, I didn't really realize that until I think even my wife kind of pointed out to me in a good way, like, are you depressed about this? And you kind of at first say no, and then you think about, well, maybe I am, like, and you don't really think about that until maybe it is pointed out to you. So, and then basically one thing that really helped me with this is when I got to a different part, and I'm able to do more of the more active recovery for my Achilles. So I switched up my physio, and I went with a guy that's nothing wrong with my first guy, but I went with the second physio that was more into CrossFit, and we were able to make my physio feel a little more CrossFit-y, I guess you could say, bring things back normal. Being able to do stuff more with my kids now has helped a lot, and try to get my diet back under control, because even when you're eating crap anyways, you're going to feel like crap. When you're putting on weight, when you realize you put on 20 pounds, and it's kind of sad, because I went from this time last year being the lightest I've ever been in my adulthood, to almost back up to the heaviest I've been. So this is why I'm making this video, just to let you know that this does happen. It's quote-unquote normal, but I guess it doesn't have to happen. So you can do things to help this not happen to you. So definitely one thing, like for the first 2 weeks, it's kind of a write-off. You are kind of stuck in your house, but definitely like get outside, move, go see people. That's one thing I felt I did. I just kind of cut myself off from everybody. So even if it's just going to a friend's, your family, get out, go talk to people, get that different perspective, get that different environment. Instead of just staring at your walls in your living room, go and talk to people. I think the sun's going away again there. So yeah, get out. If the weather's nice, get out in the sun and soak in some of that vitamin D. Definitely number 2, would try to find activities or hobbies that you can do. Like, yes, I'm stranded on the couch, I can't move for the first few weeks, and even after that my mobility is very limited, but find something that you could start doing, whether it's reading a different book, picking up some type of hobby, a craft, or something that keeps your mind busy and occupied, instead of just having basically pity parties for yourself. 3, I would say really focus on your diet. Like, and it doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to mean you have to quote-unquote diet. but keep the food nice and healthy, because that good food going into your body will definitely help with your recovery and definitely helps your body feel good. And if you're putting a bunch of crap in your body, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to gain weight that's going to make you feel like crap. So try to keep that diet somewhat healthy and good foods. Number 4, definitely one that's hard to do, but it is, and I've learned now, and I'm looking back, is look at the positives of this. It's hard to say, oh, I'm having heart surgery, or I'm having hip replacement. Oh, here comes the sun again. Or for myself, my Achilles rupture surgery. How can this be a positive if I'm off work, like patrol, for a year pretty much? Can't do anything. It's hard to play with my kids. I can't go do CrossFit. Like, how is that positive? Well, looking back at it, I was having a really tough time at work. Over the 11 years of being a police officer, I let a lot of stuff build up. I had a really bad supervisor this year. We were butting heads, and this turned into a well-needed break for myself. So there's one positive there. Like I said, having 3 kids under the age, or 5 and under, I've been off work for 16 weeks. I got to spend all that time with them. That is great. Especially Tate's going to school in 2 months, so I get to spend a lot of time with him before he goes back to school. Lila has been under the year, and Evie, just crazy Evie. She's a joy to have, but spending all that time with her, like, there's a positive there as well. On the physical side, like, it's hard to say, oh, rupturing my Achilles is great for my physical health or anything like that. No, it isn't, but it kind of gives me a chance to think of some things. Like, I'm talking to my physio about some things I want to do, working on some glute strength, some hamstring strength, stuff like that. So that's a positive there. So it's just the key, like, those are the big things. Like, get out, surround yourself with good people, eat healthy, try to think of the positives, pick up a hobby or craft, and lastly is reach out. If you're feeling depressed, if you're having issues, reach out to somebody. If you want to talk to me in the comments, I can talk to you about what I've gone through. Reach out to family, reach out to friends, even reach out to a doctor if you need to. A lot of times your work will have coverage, but talk to somebody. Don't keep that all pent up inside. So I hope this video helps. It's kind of like a combination of me kind of getting, I guess, over the hump. And that's, like I said, why I shaved the beard. Like, I'm not hiding anything anymore. I don't have to hide my weight gain. Instead, I'm just going to fight it. I'm going to get out there, exercise, eat healthy, be active, and look at the positives in this. So if you like this video, I'll have other stuff related to my my injury, and I'm wishing, if you're going through something or you're about to go through a surgery, reach out to me. Like I said, I'll give you some advice if I can. Just follow along my channel. I have police-related content on my injury stuff. And best of luck to whatever you're about to go through, and we'll chat later.